Hey guys, and welcome back to another Supercoach video. In this video, I'll be going through my team preview for round 2, giving you the trades that I've thought about, as well as the trades that I'm doing, as there is still some contingencies given that we are on a Thursday and I'm waiting for I guess in the end, it actually is the Sunday that I'm waiting for. The Friday night that I'm waiting for to see the best 22s, 23s, I guess, to see if a player is out of it as they are on the bubble. And I'm intrigued to see about it because it could be the case, but I don't think they will be. So, yeah, that is just saying a thing or two, as I do want the cash gen to start flowing next week in terms of the big guys. In terms of just generally there's no point of holding, say, a Patton for 2 weeks just if he's going to play and just to shop him anyway. I might as well hold the trade and get the guy in next week as well, because that'll save me about 30k if Patton plays. So anyway, that's basically sort of a summarization of what I'm going to go into more detail about. But She's all short, Roberts, Perryman all staying around. And you're probably wondering, why the heck is Perryman still staying around? Why have you been saying about this all week? And it's just because I never get out of jail, basically. Free card in. The fact of the matter is, I have 30k left, right? And if, as I was saying with Patton, if he doesn't play, then we ship him on to Lindsay. We go to Hewitt in here, etc., etc. If he does play, then it's very likely that you'll see Garcia go down to Hall next week. That frees up 100k or so, 120k or so. Patton to Lindsay frees up another 16k. So that's 116k gained already, plus the 30k from Perryman. So, also, and Perryman has a 80 break even, so he's most likely going to go, give or take, Perryman's most likely going to go, give or take, at that price point or so, and he's not going to move. So that means he's at 417k. And let's just do some quick maths. If I just actually do this, I just want to bring up do it the good old way that that the likes of a Squadfather does it. Now let's see if that will work for you guys. Let's just see that does this work? Yes, it does. And then we go, and then I'm doing this the long way around. But anyway, where is this one? So it's there. I want this onto this one over here. Okay. So where is this now? There we go. All new notes. There we go. There. And then this should work. Sorry, that screen should work. So if we just minimize this, because we don't want that, and then we go, so Perryman is, what is he, 4, you can barely see that, that's probably not a good sign. Perryman, can I make this bigger or anything? How do I do this? That's a big question. Let's just go here. Perryman is, let's just run this anyway, he is 417k, so 417, then you've got what's roughly going to be Patton is probably going to be 10k. Patton to Lindsay is going to generate 10k more, and then you've got the Garcia to Hall trade, which is going to generate, you would expect, about 100. Garcia's 245, and the likes of Hall is for the 126k down. So let's just put that 125k. That means that's 135k plus 417 is 552k or so, plus the 30k that I have in hand, which would be 582k, and that's dependent on Patton going up about 30k, which, if we look at this, 36, that would be him getting a 38, which he could easily go more than that. We've seen that before. If we just go to here, we go project him to score instead of that, score 60 here. If he scores a 60, he goes up to 176, which would give me an extra 8k. But 582k, and then we look at the defenders, we go to players, we go to filter, we go defenders, And then we move this scale down to 587k. You'll see this, and I'm just going to get rid of all the rookies because we don't need the rookies there. Averages, you get, not going to go to Houston, obviously. Bailey Dale could be an interesting one. Holmes, you basically open me up to get anyone that I want here. And if Patton does somehow generate some more cash as well, if he generates just a fraction bit more and I can somehow get him to the 599k range, then I can access the Zorko, I can access the Whitfield off his buy, etc. And suddenly those two guys are looking a lot better than going a Stewart this week or someone like that, because I can't get to anyone else there, which would be a lot better. I could also even do something, which I wouldn't actually do that. I could maybe find if there is a rookie there in the defender line, I could look at that and going 2 rookies there and shifting one of the Garcia almost all the way up to like a Rankin, something like that as the... if we just use the same guidelines here, you'll see that Rankin as well, 128 in the forward line, could do that next week. So that's sort of the plans that I'm looking at in the future week or two with regards to that. And that was a long-winded way of saying that I'm holding Perryman because I want to generate cash this week. And the only way to get rid of Perryman with the squad that I've got at the moment is to basically stuff off my cash gen for this week in Patton. But Patton, if he doesn't play, as I said, would move on to Lindsay through Stewart moving into the forward line. I believe I've got the rookies on their rights. I think I'm playing Reed in the back line anyway, and just hoping that Pryor scores some more points for cash generation. So back 8, I think it's the same across formats except for Pryor and Leak into swapping there, or swapping around I should say. Other than that, it's the same. Sarong, Rosie, I'm pretty the same. I wish I had gone someone other than Rosie. Sarong. If I'd gone Dunkley there, I would have absolutely cashed out there. That would have been the smarter play there, as Dunkley is just going off. And then the midfield, I do have O'Driscoll on here, but not in fancy. Who else do I have in that? I have Lindsay, who's currently not in the side at the moment. So there are some changes, but most of it is roughly the same, which is the good thing for you guys. It makes these videos actually quicker because I don't have to triple explain things. But yeah, looking at this, maybe Day goes next week as well. That could be an option if he doesn't look too good. But then again, you're just trading him before this ultra run of games here. Once he gets through GWS, Port Adelaide could tag him, but they look pathetic at the moment. Geelong won't tag, so he gets almost this run of about 6 weeks or so, 7 weeks where he looks really good. So I'm not too worried about Day if he can just go a 110 here or so for the next week or two, and you'll see that his cash generation does stall a little bit, but it still keeps on going. Say he scores a 90 here or an 85 against GWS, you'll see it slightly stalls, but in the end, in the long run, it's totally fine. He's still averaging 112.5, and that would add another... Well, that would be 420 through 4 games, which is an average of a 105 post GWS. And then he just goes on a tear here where he could easily put up monster numbers. And I wouldn't be surprised if near enough to buy, he's around... If he's a 110 guy, then that's totally fine for like top-end guys. If we look at the midfielders from past seasons, if we go midfield and we say he's a 110 guy, midfielder, and we go average here, a 110 midfielder is number 11. And that also has in the midfield, does it have any DPPs? It had Flanders, which we don't count anyway. So a 110 would be 10th. And we're saying that through a couple of, as well as him having 3/4 of his time currently of footy through tags. So he could, if he bumps that up to a 115, he's a top 8, which top 8 is fine. Like, honestly, with 8 midfielders, you're looking for top 12, top 14 type of areas for all of your starters, and then bring in the top of the line guys, which with that's going to be 14 also, which is a 109, so it's slightly less, etc. And then you're starting to also get some guys like Sinclair, so you're actually probably looking at about 15, 16, which is about a 108 or so. So yeah, I think that's a pretty good area for I guess the likes of Day to be in. Oliver, he'll be better. He was sort of on-off tagged, it felt like. I don't think it was logged as Oliver getting tagged, but it felt like he was. So he'll be better, I think. Northie had the Phillips tag last time out, but I don't think they will tag Oliver exclusively because track is there as well, and track is so damaging. So they've got to really worry about that. And his run really opens up. Let's be real. His run opens up with North, Gold Coast, Geelong, Freo, Essendon, Freo, Richmond, West Coast. His run really does open up with basically no tags. Maybe Durham goes to him, and maybe Phillips. But outside of that, he's not really copying a tag for the next sort of 6-7 weeks. And it's not an exclusive tag, I would say, because track does shield him a little bit. So I think he's going to be better. Callahan on the bye, so I'll get one of Camporelli or Sardis, I reckon, to cover in there to get the 22nd, which is fine. Gorn, De Koning, good. De Koning VC. I don't even think I went into VC captain options in Fantasy, but yeah, basically the only option was De Koning and Rosie out of all this, is if you see here. Hawthorn you could go Will Day, I guess. You could go Will Day against Carlton, who maybe they run with a Hewitt, but he's going to probably cop a Hewitt tag. If we, and who did, in round 1, who did Carlton play? They played Richmond. Let's just see if DFS says that there was any tagging done by Carlton in round 1. Let's just see. Nope, no tag done in round 1. So, and Hewitt's only done 1 tag. So they also went to Richmond, who I don't think scored too well, their midfielders. So it didn't really matter too much. If we go to the scoring here, Jack Ross, Tom Dow, Taranto, etc. So could you go Will Day? That would be interesting. George Hewitt did lay 8 tackles at 25 himself, so that would be interesting to see if there is a tag there. I think Will Day would be a little bit risky per se, and I've just completely gone to every tag except for the one that I wanted back. But yeah, that is what it is. So I'm probably just going to go with De Koning against the likes of Meek, which Meek did give up, I think, quite a few points to. Who did they play last week? They played Essendon last week, who I'm pretty sure he gave up some points Supercoach wise. So let's go to AFL matches around 1, and you'll see in round 1 he gave up to Draper 103 and to Brian here, and they gave up 69. So he still gave up 160 points in the ruck. And if you think about that, with a backup ruck being probably the likes of Harry Mackay, it could easily be that he gives up quite a few points to Tom De Koning. So that's why I'm going De Koning as a breakout candidate this year, that he does start to dominate in the ruck. Juan Francis, McRae, Bazza Smith. I'm not going any of these guys just because I don't. Bazza Smith, the problem is, I really wish I had Dunkley here. If Dunkley was here, I would take the risk on a Rosie or a Bazza Smith VC, because you'd have the Dunkley captaincy to do that, but I don't. And then, yeah, that's all fine there. And we wait on team list with, I guess, Flynn as well. Flynn could easily be moved on as well to a, he could be the one that is moved on quite quickly to the likes of a, I'm forgetting here, to an Ashcroft, Lindsay, etc. combination, and hold the likes of a Foz, which would be interesting, but would probably mean that I'd go Davidson out. But then Davidson has the early game here, so yeah, it's interesting to see what happens, but Davidson could be on the chopping block. But yeah, it is hard at the moment with 1 game down to really be picking, because you're almost picking from guys that have like 15 points difference, whereas in round 2, when they're on the bubble, it could be 30, 40, 50 points, and that's a lot easier to choose because that's 20, 30k cash generation that is different in terms of those points that can generate. So a lot harder this week to definitely pick the outs, but yeah, it will be interesting to see how team lists go. But at the moment, that's my that's the trades that I'm doing, as my hotkeys have stopped working, which is a little bit annoying. But anyway, if you guys did enjoy that video, I think it's this one, remember to like and subscribe, turn the notification bell on so you know when I upload. If you are listening on Spotify, give me a rating and follow, and I'll see you guys in the next video for the tips. Bye, guys.